Hello and welcome. So, allow me to set the context for you. The theater is ready. The lights have been positioned correctly to capture every key detail. The orchestra is playing beautifully, flowing, transporting you beyond the walls of the theater. The actors are on stage, delivering the performance of a lifetime. But all of a sudden, there's a scent that permeates the air and sets everybody like in a trance. They can't help it. It is rude, but they must turn around. And when they do, they see the most beautiful individual with a heavenly scent that is just filling the air. The showstopper. Welcome to the world of the showstopper. So guys, this was just a way for me to explain to you what a showstopper does. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 6 fragrances that are currently the showstoppers in my entire fragrance collection. These are perfumes, guys, that will just capture your heart and the heart of everybody around you and will have people do a double take because they're not just beautiful perfumes, but there is something about them that is so different, so special. They are showstoppers indeed. I also wanted to remind you guys, in case you've missed my last 2 videos and my community post, that I am hosting an event sponsored by Neiman Marcus in partnership with The Harmonist. This will be taking place February 7th at Neiman Marcus Atlanta, and I will have the invite here for you, and I will also include the details in the description box of this video. Please, if you are planning to attend, please send an email to the email at the bottom of the invitation or the email that I leave for you in the description box of this video so we can add you to the guest list. I really do look forward to meeting you all in person, whomever can make it. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in, and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. All right, guys, so I am just so excited to start sharing these fragrances with you because let me tell you, I have been testing them and working on them honestly for about a total of a month. There are a couple of fragrances that are very, very new to my collection. And there is one that I received literally like 3 days ago. But when I tell you that at first sniff, it was an immediate love, like an immediate love. And I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, I have to share these fragrances as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and start, guys, with what could be considered a designer fragrance because it is from a designer. But this is not just any designer fragrance. I am sure that you would agree with me that there's designer fragrances and then there's designer fragrances. Well, this one is truly a designer fragrance, a perfume to be reckoned with. And I am speaking about Balmain Rouge, and this one is Rouge. Oh my goodness, guys, what an incredible fragrance. I have to tell you that from the first moment I sniffed this fragrance, I knew that it was different and special. So this is a fragrance, guys, that was launched in 2024 towards the end because Balmain launched, I think it was like about 7 fragrances all at the same time. And this was one of them. And I did manage to get myself a sample of just about every one in this collection. But there are a couple of fragrances that really captured my attention and heart immediately. But of the 2, this one, oh my goodness, guys. The beauty of this fragrance, in my opinion, is that There's a mastery in the way that they have combined white, yellow, and purple florals. And in the end, guys, you get a scent that really speaks to a sexy, rich, energetic, and extremely passionate kind of woman. Because to me, and I will start by telling you that this is pretty much a feminine fragrance. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at Rouge. Something that I forgot to tell you in the opening of this fragrance is that the perfumer behind this fragrance is none other than Quentin Bish. I don't know, guys, but Quentin has been extremely busy because just in 2024, I can really think of about 5 fragrances that were launched that were his fragrances. So he has been very busy. But the interesting thing is that even though he's launched so many fragrances, the quality, the beauty of each is truly undeniable. So Rouge is a floral fruity fragrance that opens fruity to a certain extent and immediately introduces the florals. But to be specific, it opens with the white florals. And I know you're not seeing any fruits in the note structure that I'm sharing with you, but trust me, there are fruity notes or fruit notes in this fragrance for sure. Soon after, the iris makes its appearance, and as to be expected, the iris brings to the fragrance a certain degree of powderiness. But this powderiness is not a tad powdery or too powdery. It is just right, balanced beautifully. Immediately after the iris, you're going to pick up on the yellow florals. But to my nose, the yellow florals bring like a certain lactonic quality to the fragrance. Not very lactonic. You may not even pick it up because it is quite faint. But I tested this fragrance several times and I can tell you that it was consistent in what it delivered. And I do pick up that faint lactonic quality to the fragrance. At the dry down, guys, you are going to get the most beautiful, sexy, and alluring scent, which has florals as the center stage. And do any of the florals really become dominant at the dry down and throughout the wear of the fragrance? No. To me, all of the florals come together so beautifully, delivering truly a very sexy and alluring scent with a very intense and resinous kind of woody background, which is courtesy of the Georgie wood. This is a fragrance that, as I said before, I consider to be completely feminine and just perfect for the ages of 25 plus. I also think that this is a fragrance that you could definitely use all throughout the year for any occasion, day or night. And this is also one that performs beautifully, guys. It gives me a very strong projection during the first 2 hours, and immediately after that, it becomes a scent bubble for like a very, very long time. I'm not even sure that it really transitions to a very intimate skin scent. But I will tell you, it does give me a full day wear. And needless to say, this is a fragrance that will get you a ton of compliments because it will capture not just the attention, but the immediate heart of those around you. I am truly, guys, so glad that I picked up this fragrance. And there is another one in this collection that I will be sharing with you in another video that I will dedicate to like my favorite designer fragrances, because there's been so many top tier, because I consider this a top tier designer fragrance. There's been so many incredible top tier designer fragrances that have been launched recently or that I have discovered, and I'm really looking forward to sharing them with you. But this one is definitely a showstopper. The next fragrance that I have for you guys is a fragrance that, oh my goodness, this is truly a showstopper. Whenever you wear this fragrance, get ready because people will do a double take and then of course have to ask you what you're wearing and give you not one but multiple compliments. This is a fragrance that really commands a room, not because of its intensity, even though it performs beautifully, but because I tell you, there is just something in this fragrance that makes it a true showstopper. And I am speaking about Reinvented Ethereal Soul. Oh my goodness, guys, let me tell you, This fragrance was launched in 2024, and it is a floral fruity fragrance. But at that, guys, this is a fragrance that gives you the vibe of like an individual that is beautiful inside and outside, just an inner and outer beauty that you can't describe. This individual is so gentle and perfect in their ways that they almost come across as someone who doesn't belong in this world. Regardless of the age, there is a wisdom and an old soul kind of quality and aspect to the way that they look at you, to what you see in their eyes when you stare at them. This is a fragrance, guys, that I am telling you, it defines that kind of individual, and at that becomes a showstopper because people just can't stop looking. So Ethereal Soul is a fragrance, guys, that opens up very fruity, fresh, and sweet. But the star of the opening, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the cherry. And the cherry has been done beautifully. Also in the opening, you are going to get like some woodiness, but that woodiness to my nose really translates to like an earthy quality to the fragrance. As the journey continues, the freshness and the fruitiness of the fragrance increases, giving way to the raspberry, which is very juicy and very real. And I pick up on it clearly. But the cherry has never left the scene. Then almost immediately after that, you start to pick up on the florals. But beyond a shadow of a doubt, guys, the florals, the star of the florals is the jasmine. Midway through the olfactory journey, I am picking up on that fruitiness and the florals. I am very clearly picking up on the iris, which comes in bringing powderiness to the fragrance. It's not a faint powderiness, but it's not an intense powderiness, but it is present because I clearly pick up on the iris and I do pick up on the freesia, but the jasmine continues to be the star of the florals. There is a beautiful exchange of like the florals and the fruitiness midway through the olfactory journey. At the dry down, guys, I get an exquisitely beautiful floral fruity scent where the florals definitely have their place, but the fruity notes also have their place. So it has been balanced extremely, extremely well, and the blend is just magnificent. In addition to that, you are going to pick up on some woody notes in the background. They're not faint, but they're present, and they do give some character and oomph to the fragrance. The fragrance at the dry down has like a crisp quality to it, and it does sit on a background of like ambery notes and musk. Ethereal Soul has no oud, but it does have musk. And I must tell you that the musk is definitely present, and it's like a level 3, with 5 being like the highest or the most that you would pick up on the musk. I definitely think it's a level 3, and I will also let you know that I do pick up on a tad of an animalic quality coming from that musk, but it's nothing that makes the fragrance not smell in a pleasant way, because I'm telling you, this is an incredible fragrance. But I do want to let those of you who are sensitive to musk know that the musk is a level 3, and I do pick up on a tad of an animalic quality coming from it. This is a fragrance that I think is best suited for the ages of 25 plus and for the seasons of fall, winter, and spring. This is for sure not a fragrance that I personally would pull during the summer season. This is a fragrance, guys, that on my skin borders on beast. It gives me 8+ hours without having to overspray. On my clothes, it lasts forever, and it has a more than moderate sillage that will get you a ton of compliments. This is not a fragrance that announces that you've come in the room or that you're about to come into the room, but it is a fragrance where people will do a double take or turn around once you've been in the room for a minute and they've had a chance to really pick up on this incredibly beautiful scent. I can tell you guys that before I decided to pick up Ethereal Soul, I had heard about it quite a bit because I think that this fragrance was very hyped, and I was a little bit leery. There's so many new releases, and I thought, do I really need to pick up this one also? But the notes did intrigue me. But guys, I am so glad that I did, because this is a fragrance that sets itself apart. It is floral fruity, but there is a clean and crisp quality to it without being green that I find fascinating. And when I tell you that this is truly a showstopper, it really, really is. So next, guys, I have a fragrance that I know you guys have been waiting for me to discuss, and this one is La Belle Flower Edition. Oh my goodness, guys. Now, this fragrance, guys, was just launched in 2025. And of course, it is a flanker from La Belle. I have several, I have Le Parfum, I have the Intense, I have the one that came out last year, which was similar to the terrible one, the one that was called Terrible or Terrible or something like that. But guys, let me just tell you, this one right now is my favorite. This fragrance is just so different, right? So it does have certain qualities of the La Belle line, but it is smooth, it is sophisticated, it is like very intoxicating, very sultry. There is a smoothness that makes this fragrance sexy. You know when you have a fragrance that is sexy without trying to be? That's what this fragrance is. This is an amber, fruity, floral fragrance that I am telling you, there is something magical about it. But let's look at it in more detail. So let me start by saying that if you've been with me for a while, you know that I've discussed with you that my personal opinion is that it's really hard to get the note of peach and/or apricot really right in a fragrance. There is just something about those two, in my opinion. Here, this fragrance opens up, guys, very fruity. And without a shadow of a doubt, the star of those fruity notes is the apricot. But this apricot, oh my goodness, it is rich, it is present, it is dominant, but it is like fresh and juicy and sweet. The fragrance is not sickly sweet, but it is just sweet enough to make that apricot so realistic. Immediately after, I start to pick up on the vanilla, and the vanilla intensifies quite a bit between the opening of the fragrance and like midway through the olfactory journey. The vanilla that you pick up in the opening is a little bit faint because the apricot takes center stage immediately and establishes that he or she is the queen of the fragrance. But the vanilla comes in, intensifies quite a bit, and by midway in the olfactory journey, you have a perfect blend and balance between the apricot and the vanilla. As you start to head towards the dry down, but still within the midway of the olfactory journey, you are going to pick up on the florals. But regardless, the florals are like in the background because, again, this fragrance to my nose, guys, is all about the apricot and the vanilla. At the dry down is where you are going to pick up on the note of patchouli, but it is not a dominant patchouli. It is just, in my opinion and to my nose, the right amount of patchouli to give character and depth to this fragrance, because if not, it would come across as like a fruity fragrance that has quite a bit of vanilla. But no, at the dry down, guys, you are going to get truly a smooth, beautiful, floral, fruity with a certain degree of like woodiness, and it is just an incredibly sultry and beautiful fragrance. To me, this fragrance is truly a feminine fragrance. I really cannot imagine a gentleman wearing this fragrance, but hey, wear whatever you want. I just really think that this is a feminine fragrance, and I think that it is appropriate for all ages, for any occasion, day and night, and for any season of the year, making it truly a very versatile fragrance. There is no oud and no musk in this fragrance. It does give me a full day wear, but guys, this is not a beast mode fragrance at all. This to me was not designed to be a beast mode or an intense fragrance in any way. I can tell you that I do get a strong projection like within the first 90 minutes, and after that it does become a skin scent, but it gives me a full day wear. There is something, as I said in the opening, magical about this fragrance because Even though it becomes a skin scent, you are going to sniff yourself all day, and there is like a trail, a smooth trail that lingers like 2 feet behind you all throughout the day, and it will get you compliments. All in all, guys, I have to tell you that this is an exquisitely beautiful bottle, as you can see. And let me just bring it closer so you can really see. I am so glad that I picked up this one because, I thought, all of the flankers, there's been several flankers now in this line, quite a number of them, right? And they all have their own, twist. And I thought, what else could they do? Am I going to be interested in it? But I was just very excited to pick up this one. It's a beautiful bottle, yes, but I tell you, the juice is so exquisitely smooth and just beautiful. It really departs from that kind of very intense leathery note that we've come to be familiar with. It's just a very different and smooth showstopper fragrance. So this next fragrance, guys, oh my goodness. This is a fragrance that whenever I just touch the bottle, it just brings a smile to my face. When I sniff it, just from the bottle, it brings a smile to my face. When I wear it, it adds a pep to my step. I am telling you, this is not only a showstopper, but this is truly a mood-changing fragrance. And I'm speaking about Roja's Lost in Paris. Guys, this fragrance is worth every penny. This is quite pricey. This is a fragrance that I don't think you should blind buy, even if you love all the notes that I'm going to discuss with you. I think that you should really get yourself a sample and or a decant, try it on skin for several days, and then make your decision. I'm sure that you can find it in store and sniff it, but what I'm asking you is to please try it on skin before deciding to pick it up. Now, this is a fragrance that was launched in 2024. And this is truly a gourmand. But here's what I'm going to say. I love a good gourmand, but this, to me, in my opinion, is not any gourmand. It's not your regular gourmand. It's not like toffee and vanilla and sugar and vanilla and no. And caramel, no. This is an exquisitely complex gourmand fragrance. But let's talk more about it. This is a fragrance, guys, that opens up very sweet, very zesty. I clearly pick up on the blood orange and the mandarin very clearly because, blood orange brings a certain quality, right? It almost borders on a tad of bitterness to my nose, but this fragrance opens up very zesty. In addition to that zestiness, guys, in the opening, you are going to get booziness. It's not very boozy, but it's not a faint booziness. It opens up boozy and very zesty and sweet. But the opening alone, in my opinion, sets the tone for the type of gourmand that this fragrance is going to be at the dry down, which is a gourmand that is quite complex, that gives you a very complex olfactory journey, and which really sets itself apart from, in my opinion, all the other gourmands that we've experienced within the last couple of years. The middle of the olfactory journey, guys, is dominated, truly dominated by the caramel, the sugar, and the note of butter. And I have to tell you that those three, to my nose, come across as having been like folded one into the other and added to that zesty and boozy opening. The blend of this fragrance is so exquisite, and what I find incredibly enjoyable in the olfactory journey is that you do identify certain notes, but then you also almost pick up when the notes fold into one another, making it an incredible blend. as the olfactory journey continues, you're going to start to pick up on some spiciness, but the spiciness remains in the background because the next star of the fragrance is the vanilla. And the vanilla, midway through the olfactory journey, intensifies quite a bit. It doesn't become dominant, but it is very present. Dominant continues to be those notes that open the fragrance. In addition to that, like boozy quality to the fragrance, but the vanilla is definitely very present and the spicy notes start to make their appearance. Approaching the dry down, I can now clearly pick up on the pink pepper and the cinnamon. And I have to tell you, the pink pepper at some points does become quite spicy to my nose. Like it even like tickles me a bit. And the cinnamon is very, very present. But they both add yet another layer of interest to that opening of the zesty notes and the boozy quality and the vanilla. It is just incredible. I have to tell you guys that at the dry down, I am getting the most exquisitely blended gourmand that I have experienced in quite a while. But what really left me jaw dropped, if I'm honest with you, is the olfactory journey that this fragrance took me on. It is just like nothing that I had experienced with a gourmand. I have quite a number of gourmands in my collection, as you know, that are very, very good gourmands and that have given me a very good olfactory journey. But I'm telling you, this journey is unbelievable. You really can't even like predict anything. You're just like waiting for, okay, so what's going to come next? That's the type of journey that you get with this fragrance. But at the dry down, guys, you are going to get an exquisite scent, a gourmand, truly a beautiful gourmand that while it is a gourmand, it doesn't make you smell like food and it doesn't lose its elegance, its classiness, its allure. It is just exquisite. So this fragrance has no oud, guys, but it does have musk. But the musk to my nose is like a level 2. To be honest with you, I only pick up the musk like midway in the olfactory journey, and it is quite faint. And at the dry down, the musk is not a note that is very present to my nose at all. But I do pick it up. When I do pick it up, it's like a level 2. So it's barely there, but it's definitely there. This is a fragrance that I think is best suited for the ages of 25 plus. And this is one that you can pull off for any occasion, day or night, any season of the year. This is a fragrance that also performs beautifully because it does give me 8+ hours. It gives me a very strong projection during a bit over 2 hours. And guys, this is definitely a compliment getter and a fragrance that is going to cause so much discussion. It is truly a showstopper because when you start to discuss this fragrance and you allow others to know that this is a gourmand, they are sniffing you and they can pick up on gourmand notes. But like I said before, this is not a fragrance that is going to make you smell like food. So then they want more information, and it is truly a showstopper. It will stop people on their tracks. Very important. I do want you to know that for me, this fragrance is unisex, but it does lean to the feminine side for sure. I think it's needless for me to say that I really am so happy that I took the plunge and picked up this fragrance. I really can't recommend it high enough, but I do believe that you really should try it on skin before deciding to go for it. All right, guys, so I figured that since we started with the Roja fragrances, we would just continue. And the next one that I want to discuss with you is Aoud Extraordinaire. Now guys, this fragrance was also launched in 2024, and I think that they were both launched, Lost in Paris and Aoud Extraordinaire. They were launched like around the same time. But here's what I have to say. I don't know if you have experience with Roja fragrances, but I have several of his fragrances, and I can tell you that Aoud is a note that he does exquisitely. The oud in Roja fragrances is so smooth. You can never ever expect, no matter how intense the oud is in the fragrance, you're not going to get You're not going to get a barnyard oud at all. You are going to get an exquisite, high grade, high quality, smooth oud. Now, this is a fragrance that was inspired by the most luxurious city in the world, which is Dubai. So imagine. Now, this is elegance, smoothness, but this fragrance, in all honesty, is like true luxury in a bottle. So this is a fragrance, guys, that opens up fruity, fresh, sweet, and a bit citrusy to my nose. But dominant to my nose are the notes of pear, mango, and pineapple. As the journey continues, you are going to find that the florals step in, but the dominant floral is definitely the jasmine. And that jasmine is quite present, but does not supersede the other notes that we encountered in the opening. And to my nose, the fruitiness continues to be present, acting like in partnership with the jasmine. Midway in the olfactory journey, you're also going to find a bit of woodiness, and the fragrance also has a tad of powderiness. To my nose, this fragrance is not very powdery, but it does have a tad of powderiness to it. At the dry down, you're going to get the most elegant fragrance that has a beautifully smooth oud with other notes surrounding it, making it a very well-rounded and exquisitely opulent and luxurious fragrance. This fragrance does have musk and it does have oud. So for my nose, the musk is like a level 3 because I do pick up on it. But curiously enough, it's not animalic at all. It doesn't, at least to my nose, give the fragrance any animalic quality. Now the oud to me is like a level 3. It's not really a 4 or a 5. It's really like a level 3 because, guys, it is so smooth. Now, are you going to barely pick up on the oud? No, you are going to know that this is a nude fragrance, but the oud is extremely smooth. And unless your nose is trained to pick up on the note of oud, you may not even know that you're really sniffing oud. This is, to me, a unisex fragrance that does lean to the feminine side, and I think is best suited for the ages of 25 plus. And you can use it for any occasion, day or night, all seasons of the year for sure. You could really make this a signature scent. This fragrance does give me very, very good performance. It does give me a full day wear with a strong projection during the first, I would say, hour and a half, and then it becomes a scent bubble, and it gives me a scent bubble for like the next, I would say, 2 hours, and then it becomes an intimate skin scent, but it does give me a full day wear. At that, this is a fragrance that also leaves a trail, but it's a very smooth trail. And it is one that, because of its smoothness, I think awakens people's interest and curiosity because it is definitely a showstopper fragrance. This is the type of fragrance that people will be having a conversation with you, and then they'll stop and do like a double take and just ask you, is that you? Like, what are you wearing? And here you go. There starts the discussion. So it is definitely a showstopper fragrance. Needless to say, guys, I am absolutely excited to have this fragrance in my collection and to keep using it. I absolutely love it. Now, I forgot to mention that I have an unboxing of just about most of these fragrances, if not all, here on the channel and on Instagram. So if you want to see the details of this beautiful bottle, because it truly is exquisite, then head on over to my shorts or my reels on Instagram. So the next to last fragrance that I have for you today, guys, is a fragrance that, honestly, I had so many decants of this fragrance and samples, and for some reason, I just never picked it up. And then, you know, when you have a sample just sitting there and sitting there for the longest time, and then one day you decide that you're going to pull it and use it. And guys, when I did that, I was jaw dropped. I had to like run and go pick it up. And I am speaking about Louis Vuitton, and this is Stellar Times. Guys, if there is a fragrance that is a showstopper, it is this fragrance. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. So this fragrance was initially launched in 2021, and it's part of the Louis Vuitton Extraits collection. But let's talk more about it. So this is a fragrance that, to my nose and on my skin, opens up quite fresh and citrusy. But please do not allow that opening to fool you, because within a couple of seconds from that very fresh and citrusy opening, this fragrance intensifies exponentially, giving way to like the florals on a bed of ambery and woody notes. And that's when the fragrance really picks up all of its character and depth and oomph, and it intensifies quite a bit. As the journey continues, guys, you're going to start to pick up on something that comes across as pure vanilla extract, and that vanilla intensifies more and more. But I am here to tell you, please do not be fooled, because it's not the note of vanilla. It's actually the Peru balsam that you find in this fragrance, which has that like vanilla quality to it. But guys, it is quite intense, and I love it because it brings that vanilla, but like with a woody complement to it. It is just beautifully perfect. The fragrance is sweet, but not very sweet, and it does have a tad of an animalic quality to it, which I think just adds to the character of the fragrance. This fragrance is a powerhouse. This is definitely beast mode on my skin, as it gives me 10 plus hours, and on my clothes, oh, it will never go away unless I launder them. This is a fragrance that has a very strong projection for around 2.5 hours, and it does have also a very good sillage that, of course, will make it a showstopper fragrance, getting you noticed and getting you a ton of compliments. This is a fragrance that I definitely think is unisex, but leaning heavy, in my opinion, to the feminine side, and I think is best suited for the ages of 25 plus. You can use it, oh my goodness, for any season of the year, any occasion, day or night. It has no oud and no musk, and guys, I have to tell you that some people may think that it may have a little bit of oud, because I tell you that Peru balsam intensifies quite a bit, but it doesn't bring an oud scent to the fragrance. It really does bring a very strong vanilla. But truly, there is no oud and no musk in this fragrance. All in all, guys, I have to tell you that I am so happy with this fragrance. And you know, there are a couple of others from the Extraits collection that I have looked at for a while now, and I am going to take the plunge, so I will be bringing them to you slowly. But this one is definitely my favorite, and it is an exquisite showstopper fragrance. Alright guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the showstoppers, the current showstoppers in my collection. These are truly fragrances that are favorites of mine for a very good reason. I have to tell you, when you wear them, you are going to feel so good about yourself, and you are going to really enjoy them, just as others around you. Anyway guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.